Hey friends out there in YouTube land, Rob here. Today I want to bring you part 2 of recording Baby Boy on the Tascam Model 12. Today we're going to be tracking vocals and the Cajon, and it should be quite a bit of fun. I've got a picture of Jackie right here from Kaboombox, and I want to share with you a little bit about what I do ahead of time, just so you can kind of get ready. So grab some popcorn for a moment before we jump into the track, but it is completely not here to cover up anything that I don't want you to see. And that's the absolute good to go. So when we think about the types of work that I do, I've worked with, of course, Kaboombox. And as we look at Kaboombox here, you'll see all kinds of different, just amazing photos. And so here's the just talented and exceptional Jackie right there. We've got plenty of photos of Jackie coming through, and just some of Chris on bass. These are all from my website, beautiful images. And of course, Jackie makes it easy to photograph. She's a wonderful performer. And Damien, I've got some just absolutely amazing shots of Damien down here too. Check this out. This is frontman for Kaboombox, and I absolutely love working with these guys. So lots of fun as it comes right there. So as we think about that, I want to share with you a little bit more work that I do. So if you're in the area, Hampton Roads, and you're looking for or know someone that needs, videography, check it out. Yeah, so there you go. Lots of fun working with these very talented people. So that's what I do. Of course, I photograph weddings, but when I'm not photographing weddings, I'm working with bands like you see there. And I like to compose and write my own music, which is where this comes from. Let's bring everybody back to where we were from last time. Last time when we were recording, sorry about that, get that out of the way. Last time when we were recording, we were tracking the vocals and the guitar, and I did the vocals and the guitar together. Let's look at the meter right here. You should be able to see everything up here. I'm going to bring over here on the Tascam to our multi-track recorder return, and I recognize it may be hard to see, but you'll notice tracks 3, 4, and 5 happen to have, they're colored in. That means that they actually have information on them. If I come back here to the main has information as well. It means it has a recording, because the Tascam is always recording. Even if you don't press record, it's still recording to the main every time you do a new track. If you press record, that's the best way to do it, but I've been able to get a stereo export and mix down just by playing the tracks, even if you clear it. I'll show you all of that later. Actually, I have cleared this out once before, but I can show you how we would clear it right now just so that you can see. We would go to Menu. Okay, and I do these so that you can learn how to use it, but I'm also learning about this stuff at the same time. And then we jump into Track Edit, Track Clear, and we're going to come down here to Main. I'm going to select Main and click Yes. Okay, so when we think about the Model 12, you have, and this is the same with all of the Model series Tascam recorders, even though it says Model 12, it's a 12-track recorder, it is, but 2 of those tracks are always the main. It's a stereo channel left and right. So as you can see labeled on the board, I've got tracks up to 10, but I really only have 8 channels. The main is kind of useless at first thought, but the reality is, because it's always recording, that means you can do a lot of stuff with it that are outside of the box thinking, if you will. And I'm going to show you one of those today when I do the double of my vocal, which is pretty cool. But before we get into that, let's just move back out here and just go back into the multi-track recorder so that we can remember where we are in the song. Track 1, or track 3, excuse me, or channel 3 are the vocals. Channel 4 is the rhythm guitar, and channel 5 is the lead guitar. When I recorded channel 4, I recorded and sang the vocals at the same time. I was doing a direct input with my guitar, but there was vocal bleed through the vocal mic as well. So the vocal has a little bit of the rhythm guitar on it, which I wanted. That's very important. Later, when I double these vocals, you'll see why that choice was important, because it will add a stereo effect. And when I kind of phase shift them through the use of delay, so it's not really a phase shift, but stick with me here. As we do that, we're going to, we'll see how it all goes, right? You'll just see. And doing the technique I'm getting ready to show you will allow you to use more than one effect on your Model 12 at the same time. Now, I'm not the progenitor of this concept. You got to really check out Recording Studio 9. I came to the same conclusion that he came to, and was mixing with this as well by using a stereo master track exit or export and mix down and then re-import. But that's what he called method number 1 for using the effects. He's got a method 2 and a method 3 that are much more complicated, that use patch cables in the back, which I like quite a bit more. And I'll show that in other videos. But I got to give a hats off to him. recordingstudio9.com and on YouTube. What an excellent creator. So thank you for that tip. I wanted to bring this down so that you guys could go check out another cool channel. Okay. That being the case, now we know where we are. So I think the first thing I'd like to do is actually go ahead and track the Cajon. I'll double the vocals in just a minute. And in order to do that, we need a Cajon. So I've got one right here. Now, as I switch around, my face may jump back out a little bit because I'm at a different position. But the point is now, yeah, let's get to it. Yeah, that's good. So the point is now I've got my Cajon. Okay, so we've got the Cajon. The problem with having the Cajon is I need to mic the Cajon in a couple places. So I'm going to do the same kind of thing. Earlier, I was using the guitar track as my channel 2. But I'm not going to use the guitar track as my channel 2 right now. I've actually switched out my XLR cable and my line cable, my patch cable, my 1/4 inch, so that I can have another microphone. All right, today this is the Blue Ember, right? So I like this recorder, or this microphone a lot, and I love it for vocals. It's a medium, they say large, I guess, large density or diaphragm condenser microphone, which means it needs power. And I'm running a dynamic microphone for my voice, and I'll be running this. And the Model 12 supports power to all inputs, including the dynamic one. So what I'm saying is if you're going to use this method, make sure you're not using a ribbon microphone. Modern day dynamic mics, they don't really care if they've got power coming to them. They just won't use it. It'll shunt it to ground. I think that's what it does. I'm not necessarily sure, but I feel like that's what it does. However, this one does need the power. So in order to get the power, we're going to plug it in anyways. I'm going to mic this at the back because I want more bass. I want that kick sound. So when I put this down, I'm going to put this down facing away at slightly at a 45-degree angle from the Cajon, right? And then I'll bring in this dynamic mic right here, which is just the Rode pod mic, and I will put it close to where I get the snare sound so I can get some of those top end. So let's do that now. Should be pretty simple. And try to do it without knocking everything over. Yeah, there we go. So that one's there. Let's go ahead and hear it a little bit. Oh, you hear it. For this, everything's got to be on live. So I'm going to come over here. What you're looking at right now is the board. Here is my main channel strip for my vocal, which is also going to get my highs, my snare for the Cajon. I'll just move it. You'll see in a moment. And then input 2 is now bringing in the condenser mic for the kick. And it looks like it's getting it. Let me check my recording. I want to make sure I'm not clipping you. Oh, geez. Yeah, it's clipping. Check. Check, check. So I need to turn a pad on and then turn up the gain on this mic. So that's going to work like this. Come over here to menu. Scroll all the way down to system, output pad, sub output. I need to probably go. I'm going to start at minus 10 decibel 12. Add some more gain for my vocal. Check, check. You should hear me coming back in now. Good. Yeah, I think that did it. That may have sounded funky because I'm getting echo in my ear. I'm using 2 separate sets of headphones because there's delay running through all of this stuff, and there's no delay coming straight out of the Tascam. Now, you might notice that the red light is on for peaking up here on my channel 2 with the bass. That's okay. That really is peaking close to over limited, what, like -3 decibels? So this is an analog input. Everything from the input gain and before, so everything up to the input gain is analog. From the gain to the compressor, the EQ, the faders, the effects is all digital, including the final master effects. Output is analog again. So we get a hybrid board that's running analog in, digital processing, analog out. There are 2 types. There's an analog to digital and a digital analog converter. So we can push this preamp a little bit and it will be fine. But when we had it like we did a minute ago, that was just too much. That was way too much. Okay. I'm glad I checked on that pad, because had I not checked on that pad, we would have had a problem. Good. Okay, so the next thing to do is get my vocal mic down there just to make sure everything's good. For this, I'm going to mute the kick. All right. Check what 2. All right, all right. I'm feeling pretty good about what I see right here. So the next thing to do is to arm the tracks for main so that I can play along with it. So that's as simple as just pressing play. I'm going to unmute my track there and then double click to get to the beginning. I'm going to switch back here so I can see it really starts around 5. I'm going to listen in on my YOLO Box headphones just to make sure it's coming through nice for you. Don't you cry, my baby boy. Ran to my bed with the tooth in your Sounds like it's coming in nice. Hardly up you're there and crying 'cause you don't I'll pull down my vocals a little. Race car PJ, just a little. And I'm going to try the kick. You say, look what's in my I'm going to pull the kicks and why does my mouth back feel a little so bit. Bad? Will I always be this way? Will I get a new tooth someday? Yeah. How many questions your mind's all over with all your... Okay. So, considering all of that, I think we're ready. Now, I like to do these things as one-take wonders. You know how that goes. And I hope that comes across, that this is all just me. So I'll start this a couple times, and you might see me go back to it. So going back and re-recording is pretty simple. I'm just going to arm the track, and when I'm ready to go, I'm going to press record. And I'm going to try to do a little, just a straight pattern. I'll use a shaker in another video and get some more stuff. with the tooth in your hand, son, hardly up your very mind, 'cause you don't understand. Race car PJs, bare feet and a frown, the sad little face raining tears to the ground. You say, look what's in my hand, Dad, and why does my mouth feel so bad? Will I always be this way? Will I get a new tooth someday? How many questions your mind's all over, with all your fears, all your tears, cured by my hugs, and I say, don't you cry, my baby boy. It'll be alright, Daddy's pride and joy. Dry your eyes, Daddy's little boy. My brown-eyed boy. Okay. It sounds like that was a one-take wonder, which is pretty nice. So we're back working on the board. Before I decide to make everything rock and roll on out, I want to make sure my sound is still good over here. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Yeah, I think we're still good. Okay, so right now we've got it on track number 2, and it's time to go ahead and give it a look. As long as it sounds good, I'll switch all this back up so I can look at the camera a little bit better. But from track 2, we keep it right where it was, and we just double click. I'm going to rotate the knob to get, as you can see, close to about 5. And I come in, and I'm just going to press play. I need to switch the track 2 from live to multi-track recorder mode. I want to tell you something before I continue. Everything that has been recorded on this board has been recorded dry. Any of the knob positions that you see are temporary and can be changed throughout the entire process until you mix down. Once you mix down, those are printed to the file. So I've got some EQ and things dialed in. That wasn't exactly the EQ I'm going to use. This is actually just set up the way I usually use the guitar, or just one guitar. I have different settings. So I'm just saying, hey, don't be worried about what you see here. However, if you mix down and you print all of these to the card, when you re-import a file like we'll do later, it's important to know that if you add effects on top of it or EQ on top of it, it's going to, well, you get the picture. It's going to have all of that stuff and you'll be doubling effects. Anyways, let's listen. Cry, my baby boy. Ran to my bed with the tooth in your hand, son, hardly up your it sounds good. Mind, 'cause you don't understand. Race car PJs, bare feet and a frown. The sad little face. I'm adding some of that acoustic guitar. You say, look what's in my hand, Dad, and why does my mouth feel so bad? Moving my vocal forward for now. Will I always be this way? Will I get a new tooth someday? How many questions? Now I'm gonna punch the drum. All your fears, all your tears, cured by my hugs, and I say, don't you cry, my baby boy. Okay, too much is too much. It'll be alright, Daddy's pride. Okay, so I think we're good. What I'm gonna do is switch this up so I can sit down and look a little better at you guys, and I'll be right back. Boy, howdy, do I feel better now. Sometimes people ask or get to thinking that this takes a long time, and it's not that it takes a long time. It takes me more time to do this for you than it does for me. And now I'm moving everything. Oh, you can't look at there. Don't look, don't look. You probably can't see anyways right now based on what's back there. Anyway, yeah, so here we go. You might be asking me, hey, Rob, what happened to the other track? And you're right, I recorded 2. So let's take this track 1, and we've got to move it. I'm going to move track 1. I'm going to look and see where I'm at right now. on my tracks. And we've got a track 2, which is currently recorded, and a track 6 that's open. I'm using one for my vocal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take what's on track 1 and I'm going to move it to track 6 for now. And I do that by pressing Menu, going up to Multi-Track Recorder, Track Edit, Track Swap. I'm going to swap track 1 with track 6. Okay. Now I do the track 6 swap. So I've got 2 and 6 are my drums. That's not where I want them. That's not where they will end up, but it's where they're going to be for now. So the next thing that I'm going to do is X out of here and check. Yeah, so I've got track 2 and track 5. Where did my 1 go? Oh, okay, so, I didn't record 1 when we first tracked all of this. I only armed my track 2. So there is no track to swap. Okay, so as much as that sucks, oops, that happened, but let's just go ahead and deal with it. We'll listen to the song one time through, EQ the drums a little bit. They are on 2, and I'll just leave the drums on 2 for now. Actually, I think I'm going to swap the drums with, well, I'll need it later. So I need these tracks later, and I don't want to go to a stereo track right now. So we're just going to leave the drums on track 2, and we'll just EQ them where they are here and not worry about everything else. So that's what happens. Word to the wise, make sure you're recording what you want. But usually, even if that's the case, you see it was only a 45-second. It wouldn't take any time to redo it. I'm going to start with everything centered. Don't you cry, my baby boy. And yeah, I'm working the compressor in your hands, hardly up your very fine. I'm going to press repeat twice so that it will continue. It stops. And a frown, your sad little face raining tears to the ground. You say, look what's in my hand, Dad, and why does my mouth feel so bad? Will I always be this way? Will I get a new someday? And a little verb. How many questions, your mind's all over. All your fears, all your tears, cured by my hugs. And I say, don't you cry, my baby boy. It'll be alright, Daddy's pride and joy. Dry your eyes, Daddy's little boy. My brown-eyed boy. I liked that a lot. I hope you did too. That sounds really good. And what we were using, so how did I get through all of that? Let's talk about it real quick. I was over here using the one knob compressor. Now, again, thanks to the amazing work by recordingstudio9.com, the YouTube channel, go check them out. We know what this compressor, this one knob compressor is doing. Now, I liked it. Everyone liked it. For a one knob compressor, this is an excellent implementation. But check this out. Up to about 9 o'clock position, 9, 10, 11-ish, not exactly 12, in between 9, 10, 11, all the way up to there, it's using as a hard limiter. And it goes from low threshold, high ratio, up to high threshold, low ratio. So as you get between 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock, you begin to add soft compression. Now, he found that there's makeup gain up to 10 decibels. There's a low ratio and a low threshold, low decibel. So one of the ways I like to do vocals, and one of the reasons this sounds so great for vocals, is this one knob compressor is great. I usually use 1:5, or I mostly use a 1:8 ratio compression on vocals, especially for live streams, with a threshold of minus 38 decibels and a makeup gain of about 10 to 12 decibels. Well, it turns out when you're in the 9 o'clock to max position, you have everything from about 1:5 ratio to 1:8 ratio, and it goes down from 1:5 to 1:8. And then you've got everything from minus 20 decibels to 30 decibels as your threshold, and then you've got about 8 to 10 decibels of makeup gain. You can check that chart out over on Recording Studio 9's website as well as their YouTube channel. So I'm happy that he did the test because I liked it. Now we know what it's doing. And in this case, I'm not going to use any compression on the drums. I'm going to use it in about the 10, 11 o'clock position, which is limiting. And I like that quite a bit. You saw at the end, to give it a little bit more space, I brought in some of the reverb that I'm using, which is actually a studio or a hall reverb in this case. And it sounded nice. What I'm going to do now is take my vocals, which are on track 3, and put them over to the send out. So let's look at how we do that. Okay. I got to keep moving stuff around for you guys, my good friends out there. Just a couple minutes. Let's see if we can do it quickly. The first thing I want to do is isolate my vocals. So I know that they're on track 3. Okay. But I'm going to mute everything else except for my voice. I'm going to mute these because I want these going to the main, because the main is important. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go to my, excuse me guys, there we go. You should hear me better now. I'm going to go to my multi-track recorder, track edit, track clear, main. Yes. Whatever was on the main, because it's always recording when we press this button, we're going to get rid of it now. So bingo, exit. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to show this to you because you'll be able to see this. If we go over here to main, there's nothing on the main right now. Now, for some reason, we can't just copy a track over. Wouldn't that be cool? But we can't. I wish Tascam would add that feature. However, there's nothing on main right now, 9 and 12. There's nothing there. So let's make sure that we like the vocals as they are by menu, double click, go to about 6 or 4, 5, 6, whenever the vocals come in. And I'm just going to listen. There's some of that bleed through of the acoustic guitar. Don't you cry, my baby boy. Ran to my bed with a tooth in your hand. Sun's hardly up, you're there and crying. Okay, good. This brings me to something I wanted to do. I don't want to use a reverb on this one. I want to use a delay. Actually, I might even use a chorus. So I'm going to select chorus. Let's see. Okay, I've got chorus selected. Let's play it now. Don't understand. Race car PJs, bare feet and a frown. Your sad little face, raining tears to the ground. And you say, look what's in my hand, Dad. And notice how that can get pretty big. Let's try the delay real quick. Will I always be this way? I might like to delay a little bit better than the chorus. We'll do delay. I'll do a long delay and then check that out. Long delay is usually never great, but let's hear. Will I get a new tooth someday? How many questions? Your mind's all abuzz with all your fear. No, the long delay is never any good for stuff like this. We can change all of the effects in there, but I'm not going to. Let's go back and just press play. There's all your tears cured by my hugs, and I say, yeah. Don't you cry, I like that better. My baby boy. Do you like that better? I like that better. So let's make sure it's the correct amount. It'll be all right, Daddy's pride and joy. Dry your eyes, Daddy's little boy. I'm gonna add more. My brown-eyed boy. Okay, so we've got what we wanted. Go back to our multi-track recorder. Nothing is still on the main. We're getting ready to go ahead and do our mix down. We'll press record for all of that. And we'll be ready in a minute. Okay. So, get track 3 ready to record. And I'm going to just let it go just as it is. So, one there. Everything else is done. And we're going to record. And it's recording. But for some reason, we're not getting them. To the ground. You say, look what's in my... Okay, so for some reason, I had all of this pulled out from the main, which strange. Oh, because of what I was doing yesterday. Yeah. Let's see what we can hear now. Okay, we're just going to play this whole thing one more time, just to make sure I'm good. Okay, don't worry about those drums because we switched over to reverb. Will I always be this way? Okay, good. So next thing we're going to come over here to do again, multi-track recorder, track edit, track clear. Let's actually look so you can see that the main has something recorded to it now. So now you can see, that's why we clear it out. Multi-track recorder, track edit, track clear, main, enter, yes. Okay. So as much fun as all of that has been, the next thing that we do is we go back over here. And I've got my mains coming out so that you can hear it all. It sounds nice and pretty, and we'll be able to hear it. I'll work on these drums again because when I was EQing them earlier, they may not have, it may not have been going to where they needed to go. But in any event, they're on mute right now, and we'll mute everything else. I will keep this open for right now so you can hear me talk, and I'm going to press play so I can hear. Will I get a new tooth someday? How many questions? Yeah, that's where we want it to be. And I did a little bit of EQ. This EQ is going to be printed to the card. It's going to be on the file when we're all said and done. So just make sure that you know, because this is where it's going to be. So what we're doing now, that's it. So next thing we're going to do is press record. You may not be able to hear this because of the way I've got everything routed. Okay, so now we're coming to a fun part of my recollection. I did something very silly here, and that is that I recorded over top of my pre-recorded stuff. In order to record, I don't need to arm here, I just need to record there. So these are the type of mistakes you run into. It just kind of happened, and all of that's done the way that it is, which means now I need to record that again. So to record that vocal again, I simply come over here and I'll arm recording for track 1, and then I'll switch track 1 over, and I'll make sure everything else is easy to hear so that I can hear it in my headphones, and we'll just record this thing again. So we'll come over here on run, and I'm going to menu, go to multi-track, I'm going to track edit, track clear, track 3. I don't need anything else that's in 3 anymore. Yes. Okay. So when you ask how do you fix mistakes, well, sometimes on a DAWless recorder, sometimes you can't, but sometimes you can. And this is the way we're going to do it today. I'm going to bring down a little bit of my meters. I'm going to switch back over to live. I'm going to come back to my meters to make sure I'm good. Tracks 1 through 8, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to try to do this nicely. So let's see what we get. Click record, check, check, check. No reverb in my, none of that. And remember, this will all record dry, and a little bit of soft compression for my voice, just for what's in here. And we're going to click record. Don't you cry, my baby boy. Ran to my bed with a tooth in your hand. Sun's hardly up, you're there and crying 'cause you don't understand. Race car PJs, bare feet and a frown. Your sad little face, raining tears to the ground. And you say, look what's in my hand, Dad, and why does my mouth feel so bad? Will I always be this way? Will I get a new tooth someday? So many questions, your mind's all abuzz. All your fears, all your tears, cured by my hugs. And I say, don't you cry, my baby boy. It's all Okay, now I don't know how that turned out. I feel like I messed it up, but we'll listen back to it real quick. Don't you cry, my baby boy. Ran to my bed with a tooth in your hand, and sun's hardly up, you're there and crying. We're going to give this one more shot to fix it for you on camera, and then we're going to cut it down. I did not like that take. I need to give myself a little bit more in my headphones, so we'll do this again and be ready to go. Don't you cry, my baby boy. Ran to my bed with a tooth in your hand. Sun's hardly up, you're scared and crying. You don't understand. Raised our PJs, bare feet and a frown. Just sad little face, raining tears to the ground. You said, look what's in my hand, Dad, and why does my mouth feel so bad? Will I always be this way? Will I get it someday? So many questions, your mind's all a buzz. All your fears, all your tears. Goodbye, my hugs, and I say, don't you cry, my baby boy. It'll be alright, my boy. Dry your eyes, daddy's like joy. Don't cry anymore. Don't you cry. Okay, switch over to multi-track recorder, which is also how you do a punch in. Don't you cry, my baby boy. Ran to my bed with a tooth in your hand. Sun's hardly up, you're scared and crying. You don't understand. Okay, we're going to keep that, which is good. So what we're going to do is we're going to move it now. So we're going to come over here to menu, multi-track recorder, track edit, track swap. We're going to swap 1 for 3. Now we should have our stuff on 3. We come back over here to check. We do. Let's go ahead and mute all the other tracks. And let's play it and listen together. It should come in around 7, bar 7. Maybe it's 9. Yeah, it's 9. Don't you cry, my baby boy. Perfect. This is set up the way that we want it. Ran to my bed with the tooth in your hand. Sun's hardly up, you're scared and crying. Okay. Now we're back to where we began. So you saw me make a mistake live on camera, and that's okay. This is how we do it. Now we're going to come over here. I'm double clicking the stop button to go back to the beginning. Everything is going to be muted except for, actually I will mute my voice while this plays through because we got to listen. And since I'm not editing this video, you're seeing it all. You're going to go through the entire vocal with the delay that we've chosen. What delay? FX8 delay 1. Right. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and mute everything and I'll mute my voice now, and I'm going to go ahead and press record here in just a moment. We should make sure that we can see this. I like to do this so that you can see. Multi-track recorder 9 through 12 has something on the main. So we can record over top of it. I'm just going to show you how we clear it because I want you to see how it pops up. I think it's important to know that it goes away, but you don't have to. Now there's nothing on the main 9 and 12. Okay, so everything's in playback mode. I'm going to go ahead and mute, and I'm going to press play.
Don't you cry, my baby boy. Ran to my bed with a tooth in your hand. Sun's hardly up, you're scared and crying, 'cause you don't understand. Race car PJs, bare feet and a frown. Your sad little face raining tears to the ground. And you say, look what's in my hand, Dad, and why does my mouth feel so bad? Will I always be this way? Will I get a new tooth someday? So many questions, your mind's all abuzz. All your fears, all your tears, cured by my hugs. And I say, don't you cry, my baby boy. It'll be all right, my brown-eyed boy. Dry your eyes, Daddy's pride and joy. Don't you cry anymore. Don't you cry.
Okay, that's done, which means now we have a track on main, right? So that track was recorded with the effects built into it, and that is on track 3. But if we come over here to menu, like we've been talking about, we can do something, okay? We can come over here to track edit, track swap. And the main is a stereo recording, but we can choose track 11 or 12 or track 11 and 12. So let's just take track 12. Well, before we do that, let's come back here. I want you to, because this is important to know. We've got a vocal on 3. We've got drums on 2, vocal on 3, guitar, a rhythm on 4, lead on 5, nothing on 6. So we can actually take track 6 and do a mix down. Now, everything that we heard just a minute ago had the effects on it. So we can turn the effects on track 6 all the way off, unmute track 6, and swap track 6 and not lose anything. And we'll have everything that was printed to the track 6 as you heard it just a moment ago, because the main is recording everything after the EQ, or including the EQ. So we go that, track edit, track swap, track 12 with track 6. Now we can come over here and look, and we can see we've got something on 6, but what about 9 and 12? On the main, it's got something on main, but realistically we know 11 and 12, it only has it on track 12 is left. So let's come over here and view that vocal. We've turned off all of the effects, and let's just preview. We know we start around 9.
Don't you cry, my baby boy.
Do you hear? You hear the effect,
Ran to my bed with a tooth in your hand. Sun's hardly up, you're scared and crying, 'cause you don't understand. Race car PJs, bare feet and a frown. Your sad little face, tears to the ground.
Okay. Let's come over here too. I'm not quite sure that that worked the way that I was hoping. I saw that it came through, right? I saw that we've got something on 6 now, but I'm not hearing it as it comes through. We did swap 3. We did swap 1. Let's go ahead and put the swap back. I wonder why that didn't play. Was it on mute? No, it wasn't on mute. Everything else should be playing.
and you say, look what's in my hand, Dad, and why does my mouth feel so bad? Be this way. Will I get a new tooth
so there's something else that we can do. We don't have to worry about that. We can just as easily stop this and do what I know that we can do, which is come back into our multi-track recorder. We can go to track edit. We can go to track swap. We can swap track 6 once again with track 12 to put it back to where it was. Okay. And now we can very easily go to an SD mix down menu. I guess I was trying to do a stereo mix export. Yes. So that's going to mix this down, and now we're just going to import that track onto track 6. It's another step. It's not a big deal. I was just hoping it to, I was just hoping to do it a different way. Let's track edit, import, baby 1 to mix 1. That's the one. And we're going to tell it where we want it to go. I want it to go on tracks. We can go to 7 and 8. There's nothing on 7 and 8. And later I can swap one of those tracks with 6 and not worry about it. Because I just want that. It's just a mono track anyways, even though it recorded in stereo. So now we have 7, 8. We should be able to mute everything else. Double click to go back. Let's look to make sure we got what we want on 7 and 8. Nothing on 6. We should be able to press play. And we should hear something around here, about 9.
Ran to my bed with the tooth in your hand. Sun's hardly up, you're scared and crying because you don't understand.
Okay.
Race car PJ.
So, just to be clear, I found out why we weren't hearing it. I had my main buttons untoggled, which is important. You're supposed to have them all pressed in if you want the sound to go there. So what we know is that what I did originally, sent it out, I didn't realize. So just doing the track swap with 12 to 6, that worked. Main wasn't pressed. And I just realized that right now. Sometimes you do these things and they're difficult to see while you're recording. Like you would make this mistake easily here, but not so much when I'm worried, not so much when you're just working on your own. However, let's go ahead and listen to those doubled tracks. So we're going to just go ahead and take the track 3. In fact, we'll take all the wet signal off. So our regular track 3 plays and our doubled track 3 plays. And we'll start with the dry signal. And now I'll switch them. Oh, it's not that one.
My mouth feels so bad. Will I always be this way? Will I get a new...
Okay, so you hear that right now we've got the recorded track on track channel 7. I'll go ahead and swap that with 6 because that's what I want to do so bad. Anyways, we'll go menu. I want it on 6 in the first place. Multi-track recorder, track edit, track swap. I'm going to do track 7 to track 6. And I will now, when we come over here to our multi-track recorder, we've swapped it over. Okay, so mute 7, play 6.
Don't you cry, my baby boy. Ran to my bed with the tooth in your hand. Sun's hardly up, you're scared and crying because you don't understand.
So I still have something coming in.
Rain and tears to the ground, and you say, "Look what's in my hand, Dad, and why does my mouth feel so bad? Will I always be this way? Will I get a new tooth someday?"
Originally, let's go ahead and move 6 back to 7, and we'll move 8 over. So track edit, track swap, 6 to 7. And now we're going to do 8 to 6. Okay, so it looks like it recorded one on the other and one on the other. So unmute, mute, play.
Don't you cry, my baby boy. Ran to my bed with the tooth in your hand, some hardly up, you're scared and crying.
Okay, so I can't get the track where I want it, but it's okay for now. Anyways, I want to do this menu. We've got nothing on 7 and 8, and I want to switch over to a different delay. I want to do a 1. I think the hall 1 was okay, and exit. Good. So now we've got that. So let's mute 7 and 8, and we'll just play the track dry for my vocal, my original vocal.
Understand. Race car PJs, bare feet and a frown.
Now you hear that.
Sad little face,
Okay.
rain and tears to
Mute that, unmute. And I'm going to go ahead and come over here to the multi-track recorder, and I'm going to move, once again, track swap, whatever's on track 6. I need to put it back on 8. No, I need to drop 6 with 8 so that I've got stereo.
boy.
There you go.
Ran to my bed with the tooth in your hand. Sun's hardly up, you're scared and crying, 'cause you don't understand.
So what you're hearing is 2 effects on one track right now.
PJs, bare feet and a frown. Just sad little face, rain and tears.
Now let's mix the dry to wet.
And you say, look what's in my hand, Dad, and why does my mouth feel so bad? Will I always be this way? Will I get a new tooth someday? So many questions, your mind's all abuzz, all your fears, all your...
This is good, because now we've done exactly what we set out to do, even with all the troubles and tribulations we came across and everything else. So let's unmute all the other tracks. We're working now. We know that we're working with track 1 through 5 and then 7 and 8. Okay. And 7 and 8 has the delay. And then all the other tracks have the chorus, or excuse me, the studio reverb. So we can use 7 and 8 as the wet signal to add to our vocal because it's got the delay. We don't need to put any chorus on that delay. We can use all of our chorus here. So we're using 2 different effects on track 7 and 8 simply by mixing it down and importing it. Okay, so let's go ahead and double click to the beginning and then play. We know it starts right around 6. Let me make sure. Yeah.
Don't you cry, my baby boy. Ran to my bed with the tooth in your hand. Sun's hardly up, you're scared and crying, 'cause you don't understand. Race car PJs, bare feet and a frown. Just sad little face, rain and tears to the ground. And you say, look what's in my hand, Dad, and why does my mouth feel so bad? Will I always be this way? Will I get a new tooth someday? So many questions, your mind's all abuzz, all your fears, all your tears, cured by my hugs. And I say, don't you cry, my baby boy. It'll be alright, my brown-eyed boy. Dry your eyes, Daddy's pride and joy. Don't you cry anymore. Don't you cry.
Okay, there's so much stuff going on here. We've got an hour for this coming up right now. And if you've stuck around this long, thank you so much for being a part and listening. Let's recap just a little bit about what we've done. This is a vignette, right? So I'm putting together 5 of these different concepts, these vignettes from the songs that I've written over the past few years that I've been playing on my acoustic guitar in order to try to create an album, a limited run or release EP or something like that. This is just one of those 5, and they all have a nice little theme. And I'm excited about them. I recognize right now that when I double-tracked my vocal and erased it, that mistake that I made is a mistake that in a DAW, I could just undo and redo as many times as I want. But here, I'd have to do it again in order to get my vocals perfectly aligned with everything else. I'm not going to do that right now, however, because the point of this 45-second vignette and producing it is to get my thoughts in order about how the song should be composed for all the 5 songs that I'm working on in order to put them together fully. So it's like a preview. And so the specific purpose of doing this is to show me where my mistakes are up front. Very close to a scanner darkly looking into the abyss, very close to looking back at me for what it is. I'm analyzing everything like my voice, my guitar, all that stuff. Also, notice I'm truly not trying to use a DAW. I've got whatever I want to use over there. I'd rather use the Model 12 because although we've spent an hour together today, and I thank you so much for being a part of this and watching, the reality is sitting down and tracking this takes, the whole thing probably takes an hour total time for what I'm doing, not just each individual part. So as we move forwards, I won't go ahead and fix this. At least I don't think that I will right now. And I think I'm pretty much complete with this. I got one more thing I'd like to do is add a shaker and maybe an additional guitar part just to see where they fit, and then work on moving some things around to share with you. And then that vignette will be complete. And that will be 2 vignettes that I've got complete. I've got Mama Can't. This is Baby Boy. I'm working on Smoked. So You Brought a Ringer. And another one that... How I Fell in Love with You. Those 5 songs right there are my small whatever that I'm working on, and bringing you along for that look. So if you've got any tips along the way, go ahead and give them to me. And if you want to hear more, I will at some point in time put all the links down below, but just check the doobly-doo. And I want to thank you guys so very much for watching. And now you get to see the most fun part pop up right now, which is me coming over here and starting the background music to tell it to play so you can hear it. And